Alright. Stanley Parable number 6. Let's subtitle it In Search of Monkeys. These names are getting wackier and wackier. I love it. Oh, weird. Okay. Okay, so it's the computer with the doors, but also in the office, but also the walls of the office are blue. That's... okay, sure. Okay, that's fine. I'm pretty sure this might be either the last episode or the second to last episode that I'm gonna be doing on the Stanley Parable.
This is the story.
Because there's not much left for me to do, and if I don't get everything done, then I'm sorry, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere else on the internet. I have got a bit of a cold today, so I'm going to be sniffly and groggy and icky. Sorry about that, but it's been a while since I recorded, and you know, algorithm. Gotta keep it up, you know? Okay, anyway, right. First thing you want to try and do is take the bucket to
All
the
of his
escape.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Mr. Bucket.
Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker he would ever truly need.
It's a bit quiet. Is it a bit quiet? I feel like it's a bit quiet. Why is it so quiet? Or is it me who's got my headset down too much? That might be it. Let's turn it up like a little smidgen more. There we go. Good, good, good.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and...
Still sounds quiet. What's going on? Oh,
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
it's because the narrator was quiet.
Entered the door on his left.
Alright. Enter the door on my left. I did. I listened to you. I'm gonna listen to you for the most part.
Still
also,
no one was here.
I'm gonna
Stanley
leave through
needed the
escape
bucket's warmth and comfort now
with the
more
bucket
than ever.
and see if I get
Perhaps
crushed.
his boss's office was
I wonder
where
if we
he'd
can
find
destroy
out.
the
Coming to a
bucket that way.
staircase, Stanley and
By
the bucket
crushing it?
walked upstairs
I
to the
think that could
boss's
be
office.
interesting. If that's the ending, just crushes the bucket. He tried to kill the bucket before.
Stepping into his
Can't do
manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
What?
Even now, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was
I
it
also
that the
wanna try and
bucket
get
knew
the-
all along? Was the
through
bucket
the
guiding
ending
him?
as fast as possible.
Yes,
But I think
this
you
is
need the
certainly the
narrator
most
to open the door
logical
for you.
explanation.
Instead from putting the code in, because then it doesn't do the do. It's not quick enough, you know? I want to be quick. I think you have to do the freedom ending for it. I feel like that's got to be the quickest way.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
No, we didn't. We went down the escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Well, I'm intending for the bucket to meet a violent death. I don't know
The
why
door
I
behind
suddenly
them
have
was
a
not
vendetta
shut.
against
Stanley and the bucket still had
bucket.
every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
It's just,
At this
I feel
point,
like every time I
Stanley
fight
and the bucket were knowingly
things
walking
haven't gone
forward into a very painful death for each of them.
But then again, things haven't gone well for normal Stanley. So, that's fine. I want to take my anger out with something. Okay, here we go. Oh god. Yeah. Let's hope it's not immediate death. Oh. We normally behind another pod?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the
Aren't we
bucket
the
inched
first one?
closer to their
Nothing in
demise,
front of us?
Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and
I know, it's been
comfort
like
had turned out
a
to
week
be.
since I played the game.
To
I
be
don't remember
sure,
every
it
detail
puts the
properly.
mind and the soul at ease to
gonna
embrace
watch
the
that one
bucket.
get
But what
crushed?
use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
Oh,
Farewell, Stanley.
oh, 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 cool.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, The bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh. Just the bucket? Or me too? Oh, I've still got the bucket, so...
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
My bucket was stolen. It did die. Oh. Oh my gosh, I'm not reading all that. Oh, this is the text. The bucket. Welcome to the grand exhibit. Interesting. Okay.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
That's a lot of buckets. 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets. The greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced a catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets. That's a little bit more than 25. I wonder if you could actually sit here and count how many buckets there are. I'd lose track. Like, I'd count one twice or one not at all or something. That's definitely not a job for me. A bucket with two handles. This bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such as design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I wonder if all that squiggly lines just say bucket and repeat. That'd be funny. Hey, it's a real old bucket. It's a real old and manky one. Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which is the medieval era, was so powerful and alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet, in spite of it all, a simple fact remains: no one can control the bucket. You know what? That's a believable story. We did have the thing called, like, the Emu Wars, and we had a war over a sheep one time, so... I'm not surprised. Presented without commentary. The stress bucket. Yeah, worry, negative thoughts, all going in from the top. Vulnerability, size and strength of the bucket, stress, the level of water in the bucket, coping strategies. Yeah, okay, so my bucket looks a bit like that, but video games is my coping strategy. Ooh, is that funny? I don't think that's funny. Anyway. Did you hear that? They've got like chanting to go with the picture. Cave drawing. Okay, that's kind of fun. Wait, is this guy running off of a bucket? And like the side there? Ooh, naughty caveman running away with bucket.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear autographs of the bucket may be, there is yet more and always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. Gah, reading is hard. Can I reach the bucket? Get a running jump. And wait, I don't have any jumps left. What? Oh, cool. I can just take the bucket. Okay.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Oh no. No!
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision for...
Okay, we're good. Okay. Right. Well, okay. Right. Alright. Yep. That was
All of his co-workers were gone.
something.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Gimme.
Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No, surely not.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Door and left. We're doing a lot of door and left today, I think. Right?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Basically, I've written down a bunch of ending possibilities that I think might be a thing. Like, for example, I wrote escape with bucket. That's my only kind of note. And I just went with that, and now I've got...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Now I've got the feeling like maybe there'll be an ending if I take the bucket to the mind control facility. So I'll see you guys there. Can I stand on top of the button and like boop it from the back?
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
Wait, this is
So
a
they
thing?
set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
I'm so confused right now.
But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket
Oh,
deeply.
ew.
Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Ending? Okay, well, that was an accident. I was just trying to see if you could push the button from behind, which is kind of dumb in retrospect, but I guess I got an ending. I wonder if you can go there without the bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Not yet.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Not this time. I gotta see if that's a thing without the bucket. What? I didn't even know.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh my god, I wonder if there's any other bits where you can just, I don't know,
Yet
jump
there
off.
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I guess there are bits where you can just walk off, because you can walk off of the lift thing, right?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Damn it.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Look, man, I'm in search of monkeys, okay? I'll see you guys when I get to the mind control facility ending again.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Right, so I was actually kind of trying to boop the lights from the back, like I said. And I guess you can just walk up here and fall off, which is weird.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see,
Hey.
back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development.
Oh,
And you all
okay.
sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content.
Okay.
You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Look, man, I didn't know that this was a thing. I never found it in the base game.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. Railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
Alright. Well, that was something I had no plans for, so okay, anyway. I'm gonna
All
go
of
back
his
to the book.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. As Stanley lifted his bucket,
That was
he
the
felt a
fastest
connection to
click.
all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his
Sorry to put you
chest
off, narrator.
and entered the door on
I'm
his
going as
left.
speedy as possible. I want to go downstairs with the bucket this time.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
You know how when you go downstairs, there's, well, I guess, the existential crisis and death?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yeah, we're going for that, but maybe with the love and protection of the bucket, we'll be fine?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
What? Okay. Alright. Well, that was, whoa, okay. That was, something. Okay, well, let's go do something else.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Okay,
What could
there
it
we go.
mean? What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
The whiteboard ending. I wonder if that was something from normal Stanley Parable. I love how I've gotten this like 3 times now.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I feel like that room was supposed to be rare, but I've played this game so much. I've gone
Still
so
no
many
one was
times.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I'll see you guys when there's new stuff.
for he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
So, we've turned it off before, but we haven't turned it on before.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
What?
Stanley
Okay.
gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along?
Betrayal.
To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this?
No.
Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust. Then suddenly, an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Whoa, what?
Birds. Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Oh, fun. Okay, am I supposed to do
Stanley
something?
flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
This is actually quite fun. There's so many birds. Aw. Damn. That was nice. I was expecting us to both get blown up by a missile, but I guess not.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
That'd be so funny. Okay, next thing I want to do is I've heard of this cold feet ending, where you just like
When
don't
Stanley
get on the
came to
lift.
a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
And I'm actually pretty sure it's
Yes, truly a
Is
room
Stanley
worth
terrible?
admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No. So yeah, I think this is something you can do.
Stanley
without
was so
Ultra
bad at
Deluxe.
following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below.
Okay.
You know what? Looking at it now, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Think about it now. I think I've actually done that ending before, haven't I?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Or at least
What
I've
could it
jumped off the
mean?
lift before.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket.
It is a bucket.
And indeed it was.
We don't need to go to the game show
Stanley
and
clutched
decide
the
whether it is
bucket
a
tightly
bucket.
to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
No, I feel like
And
it's
here it
calling a
was.
different
Had the
thing to
bucket
me.
turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
I really
Stanley
love
took the door on his
voiceover
left
narrator.
to go back to the meeting room.
It's so good.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Well, from here, it looks like the only way forward is down, since the lift won't be coming back, but that's okay. You've got a bucket. Did you know that buckets are routinely used as cushioning devices? It's true. You can fall on a bucket from literally any height and survive.
I did. I've already done said thing. Okay, let's go.
Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Damn. What happens if you take the lift with the bucket
All of his
And
co-workers were
just
gone.
the-
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's raining again. I don't know what it means when it's raining.
Finally, yes, the bucket. Yes, yes, yes. I love that bucket.
Finally, I've been taking him very.
Stanley
very
clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Still.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
I always
Stanley
want to
took the
listen
door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
to the narrator's dialogue, even though I've
No,
heard it so much.
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
Whee!
There's
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
That was a good quick few right there. Big old chunk. So now I think this one's going to take a little longer.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
It looks exactly the same, although it stopped raining now. Okay.
One
There
man,
we go.
one bucket, one chance to seize their destiny together.
Go into the new content this time. Yee. Don't notice that I have the bucket, please. I want to be able to take the bucket.
You
to
see,
the bucket.
Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Actually looking in the right direction for once. Go me.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions?
Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
I actually really want to see a Stanley Parable 2. Like this, the narrator's version of the Stanley Parable. I feel like it'd be so
Here we
fun.
are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Okay, well, my goal here was to bring the bucket to the bucket, but I wonder if we can like take the bucket to do activities, you know? Like, can the
Okay, I'll
bucket
be
join
honest,
in?
I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
It's time for a change.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
We've had the Get Well Some Days for a while, so...
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving
Any more
on.
jumps? Bucket, do you have any
You know
jumps?
what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Yeah.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
It will. It will, sadly. The weird connection sound is still here. Yep. I don't know why it keeps happening. Well, I guess it's just a funny Easter egg in the game, but it's weird. It really throws me off all the time. Taste the sequel. Is Jim any different?
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim, staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim, developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim, rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim, and finally, dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim.
Wait,
do you feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
I feel like he's probably just mocking me for cutting him off the first time, but as a Sims player and a Sims liker, I guess, Jim and cults will only ever make me think of Jim Pickens. If you know, you know.
Jim.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
There we go. Okay, we can leave now. It doesn't look like anything's different with the bucket, so I'm just gonna go take the bucket to the bucket and see how the narrator reacts to that.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Okay. Hey, Bucket. Let's go see your bucket. Bucket buddy. Can I put him on this pedestal? Nah.
Wait,
There's another
there
bucket.
are two buckets here. How did you get a second bucket? Oh no, the warmth and comfort of a single bucket is already so great, so intoxicatingly wonderful. With two buckets, there's no telling. Stanley, can you still hear me? Are you with me?
Ah! I wanted to hug the bucket. Oh.
Stanley! Oh, thank God. I didn't lose you. Stanley, the power of two buckets was too much. I had to destroy both of them.
There's blood on them.
I know how much the
mine?
bucket meant to you, but I couldn't take the risk.
My bucket.
I hope one day you can forgive me.
My bucket. Oh. Oh God, have I lost it forever now? I've kind of wanted to destroy it for a while, but I hadn't until only now. I've got no bucket. I'm looking as sad as that giant Stanley over there. Oh. That's kind of depressing. And my bucket just got blown up. Really like that bucket. Is this door open yet? World settings champion. Is there something in the settings you need to do to open up that door? Like if I just whoa it okay, this is gonna be fun. Inverted controller vibration. I don't have a controller. One-handed walking. One-handed walking? I cannot walk one-handed anyway. Whoa, God, I forgot it was inverted. Ah, This is weird. The sensitivity isn't that bad, actually. Oh, weird. Audio, yeah, I mess with that a bunch. Let's do more messing, shall we? Yeah. I don't think that's doing anything, though. Resolution, I always play at this resolution. Always playing windowed. Oh my gosh. Is this gonna mess with my recording if I change the resolutions? Okay, it doesn't actively change as you're doing it, so I can just mess with it. Yeah, that seems good. That seems good. Okay, controls. Simplified controls. What does that mean? Rebind controls so interactions don't require specific buttons. Okay. Crouch is left control. Good. Yeah. Forward WASD. Okay. How can I change that to be trippy? Do this. Right. That's gonna mess with me. Right. So now I have to. Wait. Oh my gosh. Wait. WASD still work? Oh no, not at all actually. I have confused my oh no. Oh god. Can I reset can I reset? Oh no. Reset keybinds. Okay. Right? Yes. Okay, that's all reset. Video oh gosh. Gotta I don't know whether that was on or off. Okay. I need to go see what that was at before. Okay, we're all back to normal now. Let's turn the narrative volume up again. And I think that one should all be good. And there are some more options in here. Yeah. Okay, let's fix my field of view. I don't know what it was at. Let's put it like 60. Mouse sensitivity, bring it down. Camera sensitivity, bring it down. No inverted controls. Present. Oh, hey, there's a whole other thing. Oh yeah, I remember messing with the subtitles at the start of the game. Language English. Sure. Well, I mean, actually, I kind of tried. I'm trying to learn French, so maybe I can try play the Stanley Parable in French. Oh, that doesn't seem like a very smart decision at all. Oh gosh, no. Okay. Show translation labels. Translation label 5. This is how translation label will be displayed. Oh, okay. So if you do have a language on, you can have a translation as well. Okay. Show color labels. I want colored labels. Show content warning. Skip checks in a game that deal with suicide, trauma, and mental health. I mean, that's good. That's a good option. I thought these might be joke. Delete save data. What? Okay, I kind of thought these were gonna be joke kind of options, but they are not. They're actually quite normal. There's no more though. There's just no more. Is that all the things I can do? Damn. Okay, well it didn't seem to have done anything. The door is still closed. That's kind of sad. I wanted to be able to find something in the settings that could possibly open the door, but I guess there isn't anything unless I'm dumb and I can't find it. Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of what I had planned to do, but I want to just leave it here. It feels so anticlimactic. My bucket got destroyed. I wonder if there's gotta be a way to open that door. Well, I might look it up. Am I going to look up my own playthrough? Not my own playthrough for the answer, because obviously I don't have the answer, but like, I'm gonna use somebody's playthrough to help with my playthrough of the game. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go see if there's a way to open the door. I know it's cheating, but I really wanted to have a bit more of an oomph for my last episode than this, so I'll be right back with you. Hey! There we go. That's what I was waiting for. I kind of just sat here and was fiddling with everything, hoping that I was gonna get it, and now the door's gonna open for me. Yay! Oh, thank God.
I can see you've gotten the Settings World Champion achievement. Well done.
Fun.
You've experienced
Great job.
every
You did it.
setting. Traveled to all corners of the
Congratulations,
settings
Settings World
menu.
Champion.
There's nothing you haven't seen. So, just for you, in the Stanley Parable 2, I'm including an entirely new setting. Something called bumpscosity. What exactly is bumpscosity? Well, I haven't quite figured that part out yet, but I just know that you'll be able to adjust it on some sort of slider, and that it'll be available from the settings menu. We'll sort the rest of the details out later.
Settings World
I hope
Champion.
you're looking forward to trying out every level of bumpscosity in the Stanley Parable 2.
I am. Okay, I've got the thingy still on, so I should take that off. Hey, so I don't need that on. I appreciate it. Don't need it. Yay. Okay. Oh, I'm so happy I finally got that. Okay. Well, not much more to do than to die. How do I escape this place? I guess I could just go through the exit instead from killing myself, huh? I'm not even sure
Calling
if there's
it
a
the
way to
Stanley
die
Parable
here.
2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented.
Aw.
It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
That's kind of annoying. I wanted to go and get. I wanted to go. I wanted to go and get another collectible. And I on like 27, 30 maybe, something like that. I don't remember actually. Okay, fine. Let's go to the infinite hole. Because I had such a great time there before, and I think I've missed something. I was so close to getting something, and I didn't get it, so now I'm gonna go get it again.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for, you see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Oh, it's E this time, is it? It was G last time.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
So, I'm gonna just skip out all the bits we've already seen. I'll see you guys
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly
Later.
exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot.
Okay, well. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one, where it's probably not actually going to be a Stanley Parable episode. We might continue back to Sims. But yes, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using up this space of mine. My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using up this space of mine.
Die waren er gespeeld verhuwelijk. Nou ja.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.